Gabriel Orozco has produced a project for Deutsche Guggenheim. It's the 18th and final in the series of commissions that we've created, the Guggenheim Museum, together with Deutsche Guggenheim. And Gabriel created this two-part installation. It was inspired really by two different locations where he has spent a great deal of time. One being a playing field that's covered in astroturf near his home in New York. It's a place where he plays soccer, but he also throws boomerangs, and is one of his hobbies. And as he was throwing the boomerangs and not always catching them, he began to notice as he's picking up the objects, all of the materials that are sort of buried within the blades of the astroturf, all of the various pieces of playing balls, of gum wrappers, pieces of paper, etc., threads that had been left behind, and have sort of kind of created this hidden world almost. And so he collected those materials, was very intrigued by the different colors, the shapes, the types of material, and brought them back to his studio where he organized them, kind of in different, looking at different types of patterns within it, I suppose. So by shape, by color, size, etc. Then he had also been thinking about this location in Mexico, Isla Arena, where he had spent some time some years ago when he was looking for the whale of a skeleton to produce for a project that had been commissioned for a library in Mexico City called Mobile Matrix. And this island, it's a nature preserve. Actually, no humans are allowed onto this. You have to be authorized. It's in a bay, an inlet, where whales come to mate, born, sometimes return to die. And so he had found a skeleton there, but then noticed at the same time that there was all of this refuse that had been washed up by the waves, man-made materials. So buoys, a lot of things from ships, plastics, styrofoam, all sorts of things maybe that are unexpected, like rolls of toilet paper. And so he was intrigued by that, and again wanting to go back and really kind of collect and examine that material, really following though a practice that he's had all along of going out into the world and sort of noticing the incidental type configurations and compositions that you come upon. Sometimes he captures those with photography. He's done other type sculptural pieces as well that deal with this material. The Penske Work Project, where he in New York City traveled throughout the city with a truck to various construction sites and was attracted by the materials he'd find there, create these objects, these sculptures that he then removed, put into the truck, and then made for displayed in a gallery exhibition at Marion Goodman. So he's often, I think, attracted to and intrigued by this sort of discarded waste that's often overlooked by people in general. And then these two projects at the same time, these bodies of sculpture of objects, they both number approximately 1,200. And he then photographed. He wanted to take a kind of closer examination of the material, photographing each object individually in his studio just under natural lighting conditions, and created this grid that then of 99 photos, and then there's 12 of those actually accompanying each work, where each now object is the same size. There's this sort of equivalence now established amongst all of them. And then you begin to notice, I think, different qualities and features of these items. So it's a very different perspective on that. And you'll see within the grids the lighting shifts and different natural background behind it. So you kind of have this, I think, again, a different perspective on really the kind of materials and objects around us. I think he's sort of most interested and intrigued just by the sort of vast variety of material. And very, these are the most sort of mundane materials that we use and work with and, live with every day. But then the way that they can be transformed into something unique, interesting, beautiful, different. So it's just that he has that sort of very unique, very interesting personal perspective on these. That both of these bodies of objects have and do exhibit the sort of vestiges of the journeys that they've made, whether across the ocean or over a playing field being tossed about and trampled upon. And I think that he is also, it's what that reflects about about the world and about humanity today. Gabriel is an artist who is constantly, well, maybe not constantly, but often on the move, who does travel quite a bit, is intrigued by so many different cultures, and so I think he's very also engaged with or interested in the different material cultures around the world as well, and so that I think he's that nature of that idea of the journey is definitely embedded in this work. All of the materials that he collected off the beach, except for, well, even actually the stones, those are, for the most part, they're all materials that are man-made, have some human purpose. All of the wood that he selected, the driftwood, was wood that's been altered some way by the human hand, so mainly parts of tools or building materials, etc. And even the stones as well, there's no rock formations on this island. It's a sandbank, so those as well had been swept up off out of the ocean. So all of this material, except possibly the shells, is really foreign to the landscape in which he found it.